Now that I've got the floor all put together and out of the way, and I've got so much room for activities in here, I figure I'll pull that engine over here and play with it a little bit. All right, that's a corner of the garage I haven't seen in about 2 years. I'm gonna clean this baby up a little bit and see what I've got. Just doing a little cleaning. This thing's, the subframe's pretty rusty and crusty, dirty, and the engine's oily and dirty, and the transmission is super oily and dirty. It looks like the tranny's been leaking for quite some time. But just a little bit of brake cleaner and some brushes and some air and getting her cleaned up. I'll take a look at the other side real quick. It's looking a lot better since I cleaned it up a little bit. Some funny little things. There's some pretty gnarly weld on that guy. I don't know what happened there, but I looked up the casting number, the date code, and then as well on the front of the engine is the actual engine codes. And this is a small block 350. It's that code right there, K1020 TDJ. K means it was built in Ontario. 10 is October 20th. TDJ. This is out of a 72 C10 pickup truck. Is what this engine's out of. Other than that, that's about all that I know about it so far. I want to clean this up, and then I also want to pull the spark plugs and dump a little bit of oil in there, and then turn the engine over a few times just to keep the cylinders lubed up and keep them from rusting. It'll probably be another year or two before I actually put this into that and fire it up. So a little bit of preventive maintenance. I also want to figure out what I want to do about this subframe. The subframe's pretty rough. The engine mounts, or the body mounts here, are rusted out and broken. Kind of there. The other side's really rusty, and that one's really rusty. So I either need to repair these, or I need to use the subframe that I bought off Kijiji last year, which is up in there, and it's in pretty good shape. I haven't stripped any of the paint off of it to see what it looks like. Guy bought it out of a swap meet in, I think, Spokane, Washington. Anyway, I bought it off Kijiji, kind of third hand, but it seems to be pretty straight. But I'll do some more cleaning on this and see where we end up. Okay, got the tranny all cleaned up. I also labeled my plug wires so that I know where they go, and I pulled the spark plugs. Take a quick look at those. They're not looking too bad. I mean, they're a little dirty. I've got some carbon fouling. I don't know if I can focus here on this, but anyway, they're not looking too bad. That number 2 cylinder is a little bit wet. If it'll focus, no focus. Okay, that's fine. I've got a little borescope here, and I'm gonna put that in the cylinders and check for any damage, see how everything looks, and move on. Okay, I think the cylinders look pretty good. They've got some good cross hatching in there, and they don't look like there's anything hugely wrong with them. Now, I'm no mechanic, but, you know, that's okay. I'll become one. I've got a syringe here and some little 40 weight oil here, 5W30. Gonna shoot that in the cylinders. Quick pro tip: Only shoot it in the cylinders if the pistons are down. Otherwise, it pours right out of the hole and makes a huge mess on the floor. So anyway, I'll be cleaning the floor at some point. Another pro tip. If you're going to rotate your engine over, loosen the alternator off the fan so the fan doesn't turn, because it'll whack you right in the fingers, and that doesn't feel too good. But get this baby lubed up and rotated. Okay, got her rotated over until all the oil quit pouring out of the sides of it. Now I'm going to throw these spark plugs back in it, throw spark plug wires back on it, move it out of the way, clean the floor. All right, got that guy pushed over to the corner, back in its home again. Figured I'd pull out my rear end and maybe clean it up a little bit. It's pretty dirty, pretty gross, but it's the one I've got. So the guy who sold me the car told me this rear end had 411 gears in it. Well, I'd like to check that, and this is how I'm going to do it. I've marked a couple of the studs here. I'm going to put my angle of the dangle finder on it and get them little duders straight up and down. That looks pretty good to me. And then I come over here and put a mark on my yoke, or on my this guy and this guy. Put a mark on there. And all right, what I want to do is rotate this hub one full turn and count how many times the pinion turns there. That'll tell me my gear ratio. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And a bit. Put this guy back on there. Make sure she's level again. Just like that. And you can see the mark here is just a little bit past that guy, so it was 4 and a bit. So yeah, that would make sense for 411 gears to be set up like that. So that makes me pretty happy. All right, cleaning on this thing is kind of like an archaeological dig. I've got picks and brushes and stuff, and I'm finding weird things in weird places, but I'm getting her cleaned up. A little bit more on this, and then I'll be done with it, and then I can stash it under there, hopefully, so it's out of the way. This thing's been pretty cool and pretty fun to clean up. I don't know if any of you noticed, but this pumpkin kind of looks like the Predator's face. I think it'd be really cool if I painted the Predator's face on there somehow. Unfortunately, I can't paint, so I'll have to maybe just tape a picture on there. That'd be cool. Anyway, I think that looks pretty cool. Let's get this done. Okay, got all that tucked away and put to bed for now. I even took back my empties there, so I'm one step closer to buying some more parts. I've got lots of room to work in here, and I can jump back on this beast. Yes, finally.